Welcome to the next installment in my video lecture series in economics. And in this particular video lecture, I'm going to be taking a look at deriving demand, deriving the demand curve, particularly when we're given information about the indifference curves and the budget constraints that face an individual. And in particular, this relates to my managerial economics. There's one particular question in chapter 4 of the textbook that seemed to be very problematic to students. So I thought making a video to help clarify this would be helpful to students. So this is the graph that you were given in this particular problem. You were given a series of budget lines or budget constraints, L1, L2, and L3. You were also given 3 different indifference curves, indifference curve 1, indifference curve 2, and indifference curve 3. You were told the income and the price of ice cream. And from this information, you were to ask to what the price of pie is for the individual budget lines. We can come up with the demand schedule for pie for this individual, and then we can use that information to come up with the graph for the demand curve. So for L1, the individual is consuming 2 units. For L2, they are consuming 3 units of pie, and for L3, they are consuming 4 units. So we have the quantities that are being consumed given these different budget lines and the different prices. I think what students had the most problem with is how do I determine what the price of pie is that is associated with these different budget lines, or also referred to as budget constraints. And the thing you need to realize is how do we get those extreme points on the x-axis, that is showing us the amount of pie that could be consumed. And those points are just equal to income divided by the price of pie. So the point on L1, the point on L2, and the point on L3 are just income divided by price that's associated with each of those budget lines. Now, since we're concerned with price, we just need to rewrite that so that the price of pie is equal to income divided by the quantity of pie. So we already have income and we already have the quantity of pie for each of those different budget lines or budget constraints. We can use that information to make the determination as to what price is. So for L1, it is the income, 32, divided by 4, this point here. For L2, it's the income, 32, divided by the quantity of pie that be purchased at that particular price level of pie. And we have this point L3. So we have 32 divided by 16, 16 being the maximum amount of pie that be purchased given the income and the price of pie that represents the budget line number 3. So we can simplify those and we get that the price for L1, for the price of pie for L1 is equal to 8, the price of pie on L2 is equal to 4, and the price of pie on L3 is equal to 2. So now we have all the information that we need. We have here the demand schedule for pie for this individual, and all you have to do is to graph out the price quantity combinations of this demand schedule that you just created. So we have the demand schedule. We can use that information to graph out the demand curve. Again, I think the major issue was that people forgot how we get these extreme points, or the points where we spend all of our income on pie alone, and then rewriting that so that we can get the price of pie that's associated with those 3 different budget lines.